The money that you've been given, no matter how much it is an important spiritual responsibility. Let's talk about how to use your money most wisely. Hey guys, it's Anita. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. These are the videos where I talk about ideas for living a brave, meaningful, and creative life. And in the next few videos, we are talking about money. In this one, we're talking about how to use money most wisely. Have you ever spent money on something and then found that you regretted it afterwards? And then it's really painful when you end up spending a lot of money on something and really regret it afterwards. I believe that this feeling of regret that we get, it's not just buyer's remorse. It's something deeper. It's like our soul calling to us, because money is a form of life force energy. You work and then you receive money in exchange, or someone works and then gives you that money. But either way, something has to be put in order for you to receive money. And at the same time, money has spiritual power. Whatever it's put towards, you've given someone some energy, more resources to do something with. So when money comes into your hands, it's like your soul knows that you've received more resources, and you have a duty, a responsibility to use it in the most fruitful and responsible way. So when we don't use it in the way that our soul wants us to, it sends us these feelings of regret. So the topic of how to use your money most wisely is really important. I believe it has repercussions for your entire life and for the universe that you live in. So I want to start off by asking a question. How fruitful is your money? I love the analogy of fruits, because in the Christian tradition, they talk about something called the fruits of the Spirit and the fruits of your life. And it's not really talked about in mainstream culture, but it's such it's a beautiful spiritual concept. So the fruits of your life are ultimately, what does your life produce? Does it produce harm and evil, or does your life produce goodness? And the fruits of the Spirit are things like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, things that we emanate out into the world when we are full of God and full of passion, full of life. So when you think of money like a resource, the question, how fruitful is my money, is really important, because what is your money ultimately producing in your own life and in the lives of others? Is it producing more possessions that don't have any long-term intrinsic value to your life purpose? Or is it producing something that is going to generate goodness into the world long after you're alive? So this topic of how to use your money most wisely is also very personal to me. I would never make a video unless it's something that I have personally worked through and dug through as well, because that's not of integrity for me. So here's a little bit of backstory. I came back to the Toronto area and ended up getting a full-time work here about 2 years ago. And this was the first time in my life that I was getting a steady paycheck from working in a job. I'd worked other jobs before, but not to this consistency and this level of doing the same thing at the same job. So as I started to accumulate money, I realized that, this is a lesson that has shown up for me. Because when I was an online entrepreneur, money was coming from different places and different kinds of projects. It was never steady. And so I had to think about it differently. Whereas now, as long as I keep showing up and doing a decent job, there's money coming in. So I got the sense from my soul, from God, that this is an assignment. I am here to learn what to do with money. And when you have enough money to pay for your basic living expenses, then what do you do with the extra? So in your life, if you're watching this, you probably have enough money to cover your basic living expenses. But you also have an inkling that you could be using this money more wisely. Because The universe, God, I believe, is not going to give you more money if you haven't proven that you know what to do with the money that you have been given. The world may tell us that when you're making money after you've paid for your basic living expenses, what you do with the extra is you spend it on indulgences of some form or another. You know, you can eat fancier food, spend more money on food, spend more money on entertainment, on travel, trips, clothing. The list goes on and on. But I'm going to challenge you because I know you can take it. What if you actually took a look at how much money you're spending on your basic living expenses, and you kept that number the same, and you considered that everything extra was for a higher purpose? Actually, all of it is for a higher purpose. Money, I believe, is one of the resources that we are given in order to live out our life purpose. Just like your hair color, your accent, your height, your body type, your skills, passions, your temperament, all of these things that you have been given to fulfill your greater life purpose. And you're meant to use them to fulfill your life purpose. If you don't use them, it's like the whole system starts collapsing and we experience things like depression, anxiety, illnesses, or dis-ease that are caused because we're not letting our energy and our life resources flow in the direction that we're meant to. Ultimately, what is your money for? Here is a big idea for you. Your money is one of the assets and qualities you have been given in order to fulfill your life purpose. Just like your hair color, eye color, accent, your ethnicity, your passport citizenship, your natural skills and talents, your temperament, your personality, all of these things are elements of your humanity, your human being, and they're elements of your soul and your mind that have all been put together in this incredible configuration in order for you and me, or in order for you to fulfill your life purpose. If you do not use all of these assets to fulfill your life purpose, it's as if the whole configuration collapses in on itself because they're not working together anymore. This is something I deeply believe. I don't have any scientific proof for this, but I think we all know it deep inside, right? Have you ever had the feeling of why am I male or female? Why am I good at this? Why am I bad at that? I used to wonder, why am I Asian? I don't really understand why I'm Asian. Why am I Canadian and not American? And some of those questions are answered deep in my soul, whereas other ones are still ones for me to figure out. But some things like, why am I Canadian? Well, it means that I can work in Canada, which in itself gives me access to more resources than someone who maybe is stuck working on an island in the Caribbean. So this is a really important thing for you to grasp. Your money is, our world tells us that money is a status symbol, and you can accumulate this status symbol if you just get more money. But that is not a spiritual understanding of money. A spiritual understanding of money is understanding that you have a innate capacity to earn money. It's just like you have an innate capacity to run. How fast can you run? You can train yourself to run really fast, or you can just walk your whole life. Money is like this. You have an ability to earn tons of money for a higher purpose, but you can also just make minimum wage your whole life. What's the purpose of learning to run super fast or learning to make tons of money? Why would someone go through all of that effort, the physical effort of learning to run really fast? Maybe they're training for the Olympics. They have a higher goal, a higher vision for their life. So it's the same thing with money. When you have a higher goal and a higher vision for your life, you are going to be able to make more money. You're going to be able to use leverage. You're just going to understand how valuable money is, and you're going to be able to share it and give it. And it no longer becomes this burden that you're carrying. It becomes this gift that you have to give. Like when an Olympic runner, they don't think of their races as this burden. It's this opportunity. So it's the same thing with you. Money is an opportunity for you to grow into and fulfill your life purpose. Let's look at 6 steps to use your money most wisely. The first one is to take time and understand your soul purpose. This involves deep reflection, personal reflection that no one else can do but you. I mean, you could go see therapists and pay really expensive life coaches, but it all comes down to like, it's inside you. God can tell you it. You can hone in and take time and understand it. It comes from asking questions like, what am I here to do? What am I good at? What gives me life and energy and passion? What could you learn or master that would bring your life to the next level? Sometimes your soul purpose is not a single answer. It's more like a chapter of your life. And once you complete that assignment and you master that lesson, you can move deeper into your soul purpose and into the next level. So number 1, take time to understand your soul purpose. Step number 2 is to calculate how much surplus you have right now. We're looking at our finances now, so I want you to go into your bank accounts, wherever you track your money, and calculate how much money you're actually using. Like, make a Google spreadsheet. You can do a quick Google search and find a personal budget spreadsheet and start plugging things in. Figure out how much you're actually spending on your living expenses and how much is extra. Because there are some basic living expenses that maybe you've got to cover, like your rent and your groceries. And those are fixed, but there are other things in life that we spend that might be extra, like going out to eat or paying for Netflix, or buying extra clothing when you really have enough clothing. This is where the magic starts to happen, because this is when you start to realize how much money you actually have. And I promise, I am sure that when you actually look at your finances this way, you'll come to understand that you do have extra. And if you feel like you really don't have extra, we're going to go to step 3, which is calculate where you can decrease your spending to increase your surplus. The reason that we want surplus is because we know that the money we're given is to help us live our life purpose, and you want to invest some of your money into your soul purpose project. We'll call this your soul purpose project. This means the purpose that your soul is here to play, we're going to wrap that up into a project. I'll use an example from my own life, but I want you to find an analogy for your life. So in mine, creating videos like this is something I call AWL creations. So on my spreadsheets, I think of how much money do I feel called to invest in AWL creations. And it's like a project that encompasses both my hobby, my passion, and my life purpose. So it's my part of my soul purpose. It's not the only reason I'm alive to make videos like this, but it's one of the key things that gives me life, energy, joy, so I know it's part of my soul purpose. So once you figured out your soul purpose, wrap that into a project, and now at this step, we're going to really look at how we can put money into our soul purpose project. So now you want to look at the expenses. Where are you spending money on things that you could actually spend less? What can you move around so that you could potentially have more to put into your soul purpose project? Step 4 now is to create a category in your spreadsheet and call it soul purpose project. This is where you're making it real. Part of how you manage your money includes your soul purpose. I find that this little item, this idea of actually investing in your soul purpose, has made a huge difference in my life and how I look at my money. Now, nobody can convince me that I should spend tons of money on vacations that I don't want to go to, because I have actually created a category in my life where I'm like, no, every month, every year, I want to make sure I'm putting some money into my soul purpose, which for me looks like putting money into this channel and the other media I create. For you, if your soul purpose project is something like you want to be working with at-risk youth, so maybe part of your soul purpose project involves, paying for transportation so you can go downtown and work with youth. Whatever it is, it's like allowing yourself to actually put money into the things that light you up is so liberating. Step number 5 is to brainstorm or soul storm ways that you can invest in your soul purpose. This is where I want you to imagine and think through 30 to 50 different ways that you could actually invest in your soul purpose. If you want to create a new business that helps people with cancer, what are 30 to 50 different ways that you could get started? You know, maybe renting a storefront is on the list, or maybe something like setting up more coffee meetings with people who are executive directors of other cancer-oriented nonprofits. Right? There's so many things, and there will be things that feel like they're completely out of your budget right now, but I want you to start listing them. This is about getting clear on how can I actually make this soul purpose happen? How can I actually bring this project to life? What are the things that I could invest in? Once I started doing that, I just found my creativity opened up, because I realized, like, I want to use money in ways where I get to invest in my life purpose and in my passion. Like, I don't want to spend my money in the ways that all the ads and media might be telling me to. I want to spend my money on the thing that is really meaningful to me. And when you have that big old list of ways that you can invest in your soul purpose, for me, that is liberating. That's clarity. It's showing me that yes, there is actually a path forward. And even if I don't have all the money right now, that list of 50 ways I could invest in my soul purpose is also a list of 50 things I could do. It's steps forward. Which brings us to step number 6. Pick one thing and invest in it. The first time that you take some of your money and you actually invest it in something that is connected to your soul purpose, it's like the gears of providence shift in your favor, because now you are showing yourself and God and the universe that you are listening to that voice that tells you what your soul purpose is, right? I believe like life is always speaking to us. God is always speaking to us and trying to tell us, like, not that way, yes, this way, right? We know what we're here to do, but some of us have forgotten it, or we've just like squashed that voice down so much that we can't hear it anymore. But the very first time that you've this whole process is really about finding your soul purpose and then understanding how to move forward in it. The first time that you actually spend money on it, and if it's something like you actually buy the camera, or you sign up for the course, or you go on that trip that is the course with your camera. The first time that you do all of that, you're going to notice that something inside you just shifts. You have this clarity, you have integrity and alignment. And this is what is in those people who seem to know what they're doing in life. It's integrity. There is integrity between the way they live and the way they use their money. When we are out of integrity, which means, we're spending our money on other things when we say we want to be spending our money on something different, that hurts us because it takes us out of integrity and our energy is split. But when you put it together, you become someone who's aligned. And oh man, it's the best feeling in the world. And I hope that it comes through this video, because I've gotten to experience what it's like to, put my money where my heart is and put my money where my mouth is, both. That is when I live with this freedom because I have choice. And it doesn't, the choice isn't because I make tons of money and I can throw money at staff and hire people. No, the freedom comes from the fact that I am on the path, and because I'm on the path that my soul wants to be on, I know God and the universe is helping me, because that is literally what I am here to do in this life. So these are your 6 steps to using your money most wisely. Remember that money is a resource that you have been given. No matter what amount it is, it has been given to you for a specific reason. There's no sense in complaining to the universe, to God, I need more. God knows if you need more, and He knows that you will need more the more that you live out your life purpose. But when you show that you can use your money wisely now, you can use your money with integrity, it's clear that you know how to steward money, and in time, trust that more will flow to you. You've got to trust, and it starts with taking these steps forward. And how do you know that you can trust that God is going to provide more for you as you spend your money more wisely? Well, you'll know because you'll feel it. I mean, I can give you stories and examples, but really you'll feel it. You'll become one of those people who has this supernatural faith because the universe is wired in your favor. It's designed for you to fulfill your life purpose. That's why you came to earth, to fulfill a God-given purpose. And so as you do it, it doesn't mean there won't be challenges, because challenges help make us stronger, but it does mean that you're going to get the right challenges, you're going to know how to overcome them, and you're going to grow stronger and wiser. And then the infinite possibilities unroll before you. So that's it for this video, how to use your money most wisely. Let me know if you've got thoughts or comments below. And if you want to join me on my creative adventures, you can find me on Instagram or on my blog at anitawingley.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being someone who's brave enough to go after your dreams and wise enough to learn how to use your money most wisely. I'll see you in the next video.